All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So, what I'm going to talk about today is me hating having a schedule. What's quite interesting about me, though, is I can abide to any schedule. Nothing can kind of stop me once I put my mind to it. I've done that over the last decade, especially with traveling to thousands of different cities all over North America and even Europe. I'm a machine. I don't care how many flights I got to take. I don't care how many rental cars, trains, buses, whatever the hell I got to do. You set me on a schedule, I'm like an animal. But what a lot of people don't realize about me is how much I hate schedules, even growing up. Now, I know for the most part we need schedules to survive. I was actually just watching a podcast on that. What's it, Jordan Peterson, that guy? I'm pretty sure that's his name. I like him. I screw his name up. But he talks about how people have to have a schedule to succeed most likely in life, or you're all over the place. And there's no, people can't rely on you. Maybe you can't hold a job. You can't get things done. I get all of that. But I remember, and I've talked about this before, like where I heard about Prince when I was younger, where he really didn't set a schedule to a certain degree. He just did whatever he wanted to do as much as he could do it. And I've kind of lived that way. And I do think it's a weakness of mine, and it also is a strength, which is quite interesting because on one end, I can follow a schedule, there's no question. But then take my free time, for instance. A lot of my free time, I don't have restrictions. And I think growing up in the bar nightclub business, you in that business with my parents or even my, being involved with that, you start at say 9:30, 10 in the morning, they start bringing you all your alcohol, your food, whatever the hell you got, and the night doesn't end until the bar closes, which is, 2:30 in the morning. Let's face it, by the time you get everybody out, they're long days. The restaurant bar business is forever, especially if you own it and you work it. There's no such thing as like, you got, of course, you got open for lunch, a lot of them, and then you got, happy hour, and then you've got dinner, and then you got your late night and all these things. And then when I was 14, 15, I started helping my father in the bar business. We were collecting money in the vending business for all these different bars and nightclubs. And again, those we start collecting money at around 9:30. And we also did service calls till about 11 o'clock at night. So again, there's all this time that you have to be available, and you're working, and you have to have a life in between this. Sure, you may have some days off, but not a lot, believe it or not. So in between all these days, I would have to fit in other things. It could even be a workout if I got an extra hour and a half here, or I got to go do whatever the hell I got to do. It's even like I would go work all day, go on a date, and then go work and do service calls at night. Things in that nature. And I found that like sometimes, of course, I had a schedule throughout the day, but whenever I had free time, I just did what I wanted to do and nothing would restrict me. And then when I had children, I realized too, where everybody else I think kind of fell apart and they just like, okay, I have a family now. We wake up, take the kids to school, I go to work, come home, dinner, sit on my ass and whatever. I didn't do that. I didn't live like that. What I would do is a lot of times with my children, I'd go to school with them. I'd pick them up after school a lot of times. We'd go eat, we would do homework, and then they'd go to bed. They would be tired because they started school early. Going to bed 8:39, my ex-wife would go with them, and then I would still have a lot of time to do other things when I became like kind of a family man. At night I worked out after my kids went to bed, and a lot of people are like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "Who set a schedule that I can't work out late at night?" Also, writing screenplays. I started, writing till 2, 3 in the morning. A lot of people I knew, would be like, "Wait a minute, after, dinner with the kids, you put them to bed, you should just watch TV and sit there." I'm like, "Why would I do that?" There's no schedule except the one in my head. I feel energized now to do whatever I want to do. And then even when I first had kids, which may sound crazy, I decided I want to be a filmmaker. So I had 2 kids and I was home with them a lot. We had a business we were running in the house and we also had an office. But for the most part, if I wasn't with my kids, I was making films at night and people thought I was crazy. But when I would schedule everything when my ex-wife would come home 5, 6 o'clock, I would take off to go do all night shooting. My second film was almost all night shooting with the exception of a couple days. I made it work for me. And the reason I'm pointing out all these things is because I truly believe a lot of people set schedules that don't always work for them. They limit them from actually getting a lot of things done that they want to get done. You may be somebody like that. I'm telling you, it's either you're following somebody else, even if you You may be somebody who works 9 to 5 and say, you work out in the morning. I've used this example before and you can't get there that morning. Why can't you go afterwards? I don't understand why. You're like, oh, I'm too tired. A lot of that's kind of bullshit. You've programmed yourself to be tired because I'll tell you right now, I have so many friends and family members that tell me they have no time to work out after work, but it's amazing how they can go out for cigars or drink beers or go to restaurants or stay out. A lot of times everyone's rushing to, I realize, especially if you're middle-aged, like they're in their 40s and 50s, and then they always have to get home earlier or 5, after work, 7. They can't do anything, let's face it, after dinner, except maybe sit and watch TV or watch sports for 4 or 5 hours. But it kind of shocks me a lot of times because they always claim they can't, I'm always tired, I'm laying in bed. But as soon as they go out and do something they love to do, again, drink, cigar, whatever, they're up till 1, 2 in the morning, no problem. I think you got to realize when it comes to schedules, my point being is, you have way more in the tank and you may have a lot more energy. You're just not doing things you love. And I get you may be watching Netflix because that's one of the hottest things going. You may love doing that. But after a certain amount of time, you may get bored with that. It also may be tiring you out. It may also be making you obese. And that may become a part of your schedule, though. It's a part of your routine. Maybe start creating a different routine. Now, a lot of people, I know you work throughout the day. Some people work at night. But you're going to be shocked once you kind of take a look at really your schedule and what you have a lot of time, a lot more time throughout the day to do a lot of other things. Now, if you are somebody who maybe has 2 jobs and a family, I get it. But here's the deal. A lot of times you still may have time to do things you love to do. You're just, again, not fitting them in because it may be something, again, you're programmed that you have to do at a certain amount of time or a certain time of day. I go through this, I will wrap it up with this, a lot with guys that tell me they don't have a lot of time to work out during the week. I'm like, why not weekends? They're like, that is the best time to work out. I'm going to do weekends. For some reason, they never could get there on a weekend. I'm like, how can you not get there when, for the most part, you don't have anything really in your way? The truth is they're just lazy. So, I will wrap it up with this officially. Like, create the schedule that you want to live in your life because you are going to be running out of time. And as you age, you're not going to get, and you know this, your time back. You're probably, for the most part, wasting a lot of time. So I just wanted to do a quick podcast on this because I just don't think a lot of times people understand that too. Having no schedule sometimes is good too. I don't care what anyone says, but take advantage of no schedule when you don't have anything to do and just start doing things maybe that you want to experiment and try. Don't think you have to lock in or commit to certain things all the time, if that makes sense. If you want to start writing a book, okay, that doesn't mean that, find a time, because a lot of times I realize when writing, when my ex-wife or even with who I'm with now, if I'm writing, when everybody goes to bed, that's when I'm my most creative. But a lot of people don't even realize that. They think, oh no, I can only write from 9 to 5. Or I can only do fitness in the morning, when the truth is maybe you'd be better at night. Maybe you do certain types of things you want to work on. It could be whatever, your car. You may be like, I can only work on my car on the weekends. You may have more time during the week than you think if you just adjust your schedule. I'm just using certain things, but take advantage of your free time and just experiment as well. All right? Got any questions or comments? Please feel free to hit me up. Take care.